Okay, everybody, we're now going to move over to Cmdr's Wii Sports Resort run, and evidently he has a couch as well. So,
Stupid.
hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Insta.
Hello,
I
I
have a
guess
couch.
you have a couch. Right then, we're gonna move over. I believe we're gonna have the everything on your stream. So if I just mute Discord on here, and then unmute on here, let's mute Discord on here, and then unmute on here.
Yeah, that should work out pretty well.
Cool. Right then. Come on, I keep forgetting to change.
Wait, the estimate is 18 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not far off, it's like 20 minutes actually, so.
Yeah, I thought it was 20.
Where? I think it's 20 minutes. Anyway, let me have a look.
It is 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes.
No, it's the preparation time as well. My bad.
Right then.
I don't need my foot pedal.
Huh?
Just setting everything up. And now we swap over.
When you're ready.
Okay. So, hello everyone. My name's Commander, and we're going to be doing some Wii Sports Resort. We have a couch, if the couch wants to say hello.
Hi.
Yo. So.
Morning.
Okay, so this is cycling 6-stage race. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm going to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you. So, if you don't know how 6-stage cycling works, you have 6 stages that we'll be going across. Half of them are pretty fine to run, and half of it is not good at all. Our very first one is around the island. Surprisingly, the very first stage is not the shortest stage. We'll get to the shortest stage here in a little bit, but for the first one, we just have to go around the island. You're going to see a couple things I'm doing right off the bat. At the very beginning, you see I'm doing these boost pedals, and that's our main way of momentum, is to just boost all the way across the course. And then you're going to see me get behind different competitors, and there'll be an airstream that comes up that's drafting. Drafting heals your stamina, which you can see in the top left underneath my placement. And that's, if we run out of stamina, we'll turn blue like those people did back there, and we'll lose 7 seconds every time that happens. And 7 seconds doesn't sound like a whole lot, but in a cycling run, 7 seconds is usually the difference between first place and 11th place on the leaderboard.
Nice. What would you say is the hardest part of the run?
The hardest part of the run is going to be stage 6. Not because it's just the longest part, but also you are ahead of everyone at that point in time if you're doing the run properly. And so there's no drafting involved, so you can't regain any stamina. That's not it. I would say actually trying to do this run with headphones on, because there's an audio cue when you're about ready to run out of stamina. And you can't hear that. Okay, it's going off now. Because I'm down to 0 hearts. Those are the 2 hardest things to run. Otherwise, it's pretty chill.
What is your favorite level of this one?
Favorite level coming up is going to be, oh, we're actually going to fall off here. That's going to lose about 4 to 5 seconds because we hit a banana. But favorite level is To the Beach, which is what we use in every other speed run that we have to have cycling. It's the shortest. You can do it in sub 2 minutes. And I ran out of stamina again. Point 2. Put 1 here.
On a scale, would you say this is a better speed game than Moon?
I would say it's not a better speed game than Go. There's very few games that are better.
That's the correct answer.
So a pretty bad start, but that's okay.
It seems the commentator audio is pretty quiet on the stream.
Commentator audio, I can bump that up to about that.
As well as your microphone.
Yeah.
Just the game is too loud compared.
Okay.
You know, it's like this
So we're coming on to the beach, which is the shortest part of the run. We're about 5 seconds in game time wise behind normal pace. It's not something that we can make up in the run, but it's just something you have to deal with. To the beach has some interesting obstacles we have to face. Those rocks, where they are located, is RNG. So there's rock RNG involved. As you can see, we finished in front of one of the main packs. And so the next pack coming up here is not for a ways, so it's going to be slow at the beginning here until we can get to these runners so I can draft.
So are there motion controls involved?
Yes, if there was a webcam going, you'd be watching me shake my Wii remote and nunchuck up and down every time I pedal. But I didn't feel like putting on a webcam. Also, that would get kind of mind-numbing.
So how you just Michael from the that's very intense movie. Yes, it's definitely Galaxy version.
There's more rocks. We got pretty good RNG on our rocks there. And we have a bunch of people in front of us, so we should be able to keep a draft up. I'm guessing like a 2 flat or a 201 coming out of the beach. As long as things go well.
Is there many cases of RNG?
Where the cyclers are located and where rocks are located. See, that was almost a 2 flat. Sometimes the cyclers will help you, especially when we're doing all sports and we do to the beach. We hope that a cycler will come out in front of us towards the end so we can refill our stamina. But I mean, that's one of the good things about Wii Sports Resort, in my opinion, as a speed game, is there's very little RNG involved outside of, like, you know, player CPU position or like wind on golf.
Yeah, it's one of the most big games before that. People goes like, what? Just the almost RNG that can screw you out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you just you hear like, okay, what's in one people? Got you. Okay, so the world record in this game is 50 or 3.
Yes,
Your second place.
I'm second. So how the world record used to work is way back. I can give you the world record progression actually because I have it memorized. Back in 2016, when this category was first decided upon for SRC, Bandau, who was one of the mods at the time, had a 15:24 in-game time, because we use in-game time because there is loading differences between PAL and NTSC. And so after Bandau had the world record for a little bit, I picked up the world record with a 15:22. And then Bandau got it back. And then after Bandau, a couple of people tried to take it. It landed in the hands of Mr. Jimmy Steele, who is a Super Mario 64 runner. He grinded out the run and got well, at the time it was like a 15:10 RTA. It was a slower in-game time, but at that, when Mr. Jimmy Steele got the world record, we were using RTA time. After the switch from RTA to in-game time, I grinded out a 15:10 that was just barely ahead of Triple T, who was the in-game time world record. And then about a month after that, Luga came around and blew everyone out of the water with the 15:03, and no one has attempted a faster run, and as far as we know, there isn't a faster run recorded.
So it doesn't matter if you run Wii U or the original Wii.
Outside, well, in-game time-wise, no. RTA-wise, there'll be loading time differences that are super slight, but nothing that we have to divide the board on.
Right.
So we've gotten through what is considered the A stages of cycling, which is the first three. We're now into the last three. This is actually my favorite, one of my favorites, Talon Rock, just because it's actually one of the more enjoyable ones. We'll come out of here about 16th or so place if we do it properly, and that'll set us up to be in first place once we get to the end of stage 5.
Are there any theorized tricks that we haven't found that we want to make somewhere?
There's tricks that, so we have a guy named Jimmy, not Jimmy Steele, Jimmy. He's from Canada, and he's been diving into the code of this game. We know how, like, at the beginning I fell off there, and it set me back as, like, a checkpoint system similar to Mario Kart. We know that there's a checkpoint system in this game that if you fall off at certain points, it'll set you maybe a little ahead of the track. However, it's so tight, because it's not like one checkpoint. It's about 4 or 5 checkpoints stacked on top of each other, to where you can't cheese it. And then we've talked about trying to find a skip to go like out of bounds and maybe clip into the finish line early. But the collision in this game, like the walls, is also 4 or 5 times stacked on top of each other.
So realistically, the only way would be some sort of teleport,
Right,
which also seems fairly unlikely.
right. And these walls, they might look like a foot or 2 high, but the collision for them extends like 20 or 30 feet into the air. Because we've seen computer players hit each other and then fling themselves up into the air. It's something that we thought about, but we need to be going underneath the track in order for any clipping to make sense.
Does any manipulation happen during the run?
Not really. We like to make the joke that you can use the bell to do that, which is just spinning the nunchuck around, but it's not really a thing. Okay, so we finished 16th, like I said. Coming on to the 5th stage.
What would happen if you finished 15th or 17th?
It doesn't really matter. It's just on average to keep on pace. You usually finish this position, this position. I finished like 69th or 67th for the first one. That's on average pace.
What would be the best place
Surprisingly, you want positions that are as high as possible and at the back of each large pack, because every course there's a pack of about 10 bikers, and you want to be at the back of the pack coming into each stage so you can boost ahead. Right. The only time you don't want that is actually on the last stage. You want to be second place on the last stage because there's a large mountain that you'll be biking up, and you want to steal the stamina from the first place player. Also, shout out to the girlfriend that I'm drafting behind right now. She's helped me get many world records.
Is that your waifu?
That is the quote-unquote waifu. Mainly because I can't beat her and beat the champion table tennis, so that's the reason that we came up with. Because why would you beat your girlfriend in something that she loves doing?
I mean, would you beat your girlfriend but in general, you know that makes sense. Don't do that.
Definitely don't do that.
But what you should do is donate to RNIB, the UK's leading charity in the aid of blind people and people with visual intelligence.
Does colorblindness count in that?
Yes, that is a payment.
Because I'm colorblind, so that makes sense.
Alright, so if you want to help this poor runner who's trying to see colors, please consider donating.
Okay, so you're going to see the Wii Remote and Nunchuck pop up quite a bit here. That's because we're low on stamina and we need to slow down enough to conserve stamina. And the game's like, oh, you're not pedaling, you need to pedal more. But it doesn't check to see that you're about to run out of stamina. It's lousy programming, but it happens.
So he wants to be second place here?
Yeah.
Because he just told me.
We want to be second place coming to this finish line. I don't know where the first place biker is, so hopefully he or she is super far ahead. We'll probably see him on this turn. We do not see him. Oh, there he is.
So the placements are, it's random which factors on which placement.
There's about like a range where they could be. Like my girlfriend Lucio was 9th. She's normally 9th. She can be anywhere from about 17th to 4th. Okay, we finished second, so that's actually pretty good RNG there that the first place person was super far ahead. A 152 flat's actually really good. I would have to check the IL leaderboard to see how that stacks up. That sounds really good.
I was just about to ask if there are IL for this game.
Yeah, each stage has its own IL, and then the A stages and B stages have their own category. And we keep track of all of that on our category extensions, because surprisingly, there's like over 150 different speedruns you can do with this game.
That's really cool. So is the Choco Mountain?
This is the Choco Mountain from Mario Kart. This is the hardest part, the hardest stage in the run. And time will be when I cross the finish line coming up here. As you're saying?
Is there any story to this game?
There's some slight lore that you can dive deep in on, but it takes a person of high IQ, unlike me, to understand the lore of Wii Sports Resort. Yeah. Okay, we have Anna up here, so Anna's going to help us quite a bit.
Thanks, Anna.
Shout out to Anna.
If you like Anna, you should put the Just Keep League page short in the comments and donate to RNIB.
I'm going to keep her kind of close so that I can draft off her later on, hopefully. Okay. We're coming onto a tricky section, of course. This is the only time where I'm like super worried at all about the course. Depends on, okay, the rocks were nice. Sometimes the rocks will be in bad locations and you'll jump right off the course, which is about a 4 or 5 second time loss.
Since the game is timed by in-game time, does it matter what you do in the game?
No. For in-game time, not really. For marathon stuff, we also keep track of RTA, and so I don't know if you've been hearing, but I've been spamming the Z and A buttons repeatedly in the menus. A is, of course, to complete or to continue through the menus, and Z makes all the menus go faster for some reason. It was something that Bandow found in his original run that we've been using ever since. Okay, so we ran out here. It doesn't matter what place we finish because we're following by in-game time. But we get to see the girlfriend one last time, so that's the true winner. Okay, so that's time going across the finish line.
So 18:25.
18:25. I got a
So final time of 18:25.26.
not bad, and 15:22 on my end. That's about 4 or 5 seconds behind marathon world record, but that's pretty good for not having touched it since the last marathon I did.
Can we get some mics in the chat?
Yeah, not a problem.
One bike for every
Well, can we get in the chat, sorry?
mics.
Mike.
Some mics in the chat.
Right then, so we're gonna... I forgot to unmute my microphone, so I'll just go through that again. So that's the Wii Sports Resort Cycling Run, 18:25.26, not too bad. Obviously, I know that it's in-game time in the thing. We're going to go to the interval, and then we're going to show the donation advert. Then I'm going to go for a shower because I smell. And we're going to go then to the final run of today, which is going to be the Wii Sports Resort Blackout Bingo.
Oh. Ooh. Gamer Pog.
Can we get some pog champs in the chat, please?
Pog champs in the chat.